Nacho.
Got a
Okay.
question.
Sue Shane says Dynasty. When you trade in high stakes, okay, high stakes Dynasty. Okay. Should you lowball first or just put best foot forward? I honestly don't know the answer to this. Trading is one of my weaknesses. What do you think?
Oh, I have a good opinion on this. I honestly think you should go for a fair offer that you think that they will accept. And I look at things, for example, backup running backs to pair with the starting running back. I made a Debbie trade today where I traded Michael Carter. I traded Ty Johnson. This is a really deep league, guys. And I also traded Tony Jones to a Kamara owner and ended up getting back Curtis Samuel and Julian Fleming, which he's a great wide receiver in the 2023 class. In any case, the point is I try to match it up fairly to where the other guy may look at it and go, hey, yeah, this looks pretty good. And if he doesn't and he counters, then I might have something that I still will accept in front of me.
So you may lowball, but not too much. Don't do a
Ah,
stupid lowball, right? Like don't go too
kind
much.
of. I've seen so many people in the Discord talk mess about bad offers that they get, and I gotta feel like they're not going to accept future offers from those same people if that's what they're, it's relationships too. Another thing about trading, especially in Dynasty, well, in Dynasty almost always, it's not a bad idea to send a message. Just DM the guy. Obviously, if you're in Sleeper now, you can send a DM
It's
with your
actually good
trade.
advice. Yeah, even in
But you
on
should
FFPC where I play, you can message people as well,
and it doesn't
or
have to be
leave a
long.
message on the board too. If you have, it's a general message to everybody.
It's a quick thing like, hey, I sent you an offer. I think this would work. Let me know what you think. I'm open to counters. It's
So
as
what
easy
about
as
the
that.
high stakes part? Now, this is two questions here. Does the high stakes factor in, or is it more so about dedicated leagues versus crappy leagues? So there's a league where people kind of don't care. Some look, if you guys are in a dynasty league where people don't care, it's free. Just find a way and get out now.
Seriously,
Like
yeah.
your
It's
marriage
just
is gonna end. Just sign the divorce papers or like annulment,
it'll get
whatever.
boring after a
Do the
while.
annul, like just get out of it. But is a high stakes a factor, or is it a factor of how much people care versus how much people don't care in league? So like, is that even is either one a factor, or is that what I'm getting at?
Exactly. Yeah. Um, I think that the money part is a huge factor. Those guys are going to really take it seriously and they're going to think long term, really long term. Some of these guys in these cheaper leagues, they're thinking in a year or two, I'll be out of this league anyway. So it doesn't matter if I trade these guys, I'm taking a huge risk. In a high stakes league, they're not going to take really big risk like that. They're going to want to make sure that the trades are really even on both
This is a
sides.
good point. Yeah. Now look, I'm gonna make a huge point on top of your point. When you play on FFPC, there is Big Brother. There is a commissioner who's part of the company that's very trustworthy. That's not in the league. Also, there are several rules. If you trade away a first round pick at all, anytime, right? You trade away a first round pick, you have to pay a deposit for the next year. Another deposit on top of the deposit that you're already paying a deposit for next year. You have to pay another. So you're basically like you have to pay next year. They're
And
already
that's a
ahead. You see
really
what
good
I mean?
rule.
They're already ahead of it. So it's like, hey, if you're trading away your future, you got to pay for next year. You can leave, but you just paid for the next guy. So
Yeah.
the
And
next
there's an
guy that
orphan
comes,
team that,
there's an
yep, someone
orphan
will take
team,
over.
and there's $300 sitting there.
Right.
So
And then
so
they'll have
they
to
don't
pay
they
for
don't
their
they
next
don't lose
year.
out. The league's still good because it's easy to take. When you give someone an incentive, like, hey, this team's 50% off. Hey, this team's 90% off. Like, well, what's the buying? $300. Well, I mean, heck yeah, I'm a dynasty freak. So and that's another, a lot of people don't know in high stakes. They run it like this. Like you can't just do that in a $10 league. People will just be like, look, I'm a dumb teenager. It's a $10 league. They're not thinking long. They're not even thinking, let alone that. I honestly, in some leagues, Drew, I don't think they're thinking even ahead of to what you said. Like, oh, I'm not thinking long. They just don't think, and they just go like that, and then they end up doing they end up just quitting. Can't even
Yeah.
DM
And
the
that's what
guy.
happens.
Can't find him. He might respond in 4 6 months, might not. Whatever. Honestly, one of the biggest things that keeps our dynasty leagues going is the brand. Like, it's people are scared, like, oh, it's a couch league. Like, if I leave, I know I'm gonna get replaced in 0.001 seconds. Like, I know
Yeah,
it.
and
So
you
it
probably
has
wouldn't show your face on the
it's a
Discord too often.
yeah, yeah, exactly. You will be shunned from the community. You'll be that guy who left on bad terms. And so it's just some people might not care, but I'm just saying that elevates the league. It doesn't become a high stakes league, but it does elevate the league and it becomes more serious. People think twice usually in
There's a
more
set
in
of
a couch fan
standards.
league. Yeah,
Yeah, it's almost like we have, gentlemen's agreement there.
but the high stakes thing was a good topic. I didn't think of that, and that's another thing I added to what you're saying. Like, yeah, they don't even let you trade away first round picks unless you're paying another deposit. Like, they're ahead of the game. Like, they're not like there's no way to get out. Like, oh, I'm gonna trade all my picks, win this week. If not, I'm just gonna quit. Like, yeah, we already got your money for next year, Doc. Go ahead and you can go ahead and quit, but you paid for next year too. So you paid 2 buy-ins and you lost. Like, you learned nothing. Sue
I think we
Shane,
should
I
go ahead.
co-own one high stakes and I find it harder to get a deal done than any other paid leagues I'm in. I think you should message more, but people are probably more reluctant to pull the trigger. But I think you need to communicate more with your league mates. I find in these leagues, actually, people do communicate because they're all dedicated Dynasty guys. So I think you need to send out more messages. Maybe before, I think before even proposing anything. Drew, what
Might
is
not be a
that?
bad idea. Yeah, to
Yeah.
talk it through, like especially in the Devy League, you have to talk through a trade because we don't have it set where you can trade the IDP players or the kickers. So you got to actually talk out the trade first, and then go to the commissioner and go, "Hey, can you turn on the settings so we can make this trade?" I find that that's actually not bad at all. I totally prefer hashing it out and then giving my reasoning on certain things. Like, hey, I feel like this guy's good, but I feel like I rank this guy higher. That's why I'm asking for a little bit more on top. It just makes it easier, especially if you want to, continue this league for 5, 10, however many years, right? That might not be a bad way to go.